Sometimes things come up that you just can't foresee. It's an outdoor show and it starts to rain. It starts to storm really hard and the power goes out. You get there and no guests have arrived yet. Your big trick goes wrong somehow. The first key to handling a problem is to head it off before it happens. When you book the show, check to eliminate your most common difficulties. Especially, check to make sure the show is set for the right time. I can't tell you how many times I hear the parents say, the party's from 1 to 3, so get there at 1. I tell them that the last guest is going to drag himself in about 20 minutes late, and after that, if they're not there, they're probably not going to get there, so I recommend the show start about half an hour after the time you've told the children to arrive. 15 minutes is okay. Along with this example, sometimes the parents say, well, the party's from 5 to midnight, so get there at 5:30. And you get there at 5:30, and there's the birthday kid and one friend. Well, there's really no way to do a show for 2 kids and come off looking like you deserve to get paid. If you get the feeling it's an all-night party, try to set your arrival for a time when the host is sure everybody will be there. Alternatively, remember that you don't have to take the show. If you've done your best to explain what you do, and the parent still thinks you're going to do something else, if the show's in a park and they'll just cancel if it rains, if the client doesn't have their own phone number, if you just get a really wrong feeling about them, you'll avoid a lot of trouble if you trust your instinct. Oh my goodness, look at that. Here's a note from my wife. I'm sorry, I'm booked for an all-day picnic way across town that day. So sorry. After I've done all I can to stop problems before they start, here are the biggest problems I still encounter. I get there and the guests still haven't arrived. I try to allow enough time between shows that I can travel at a leisurely pace and still have about 15 minutes I can flex if I need to. I tell the parent, I can wait 15 minutes and then we'll have to start. If you seem a little flexible, it makes the parent a lot happier. If something disruptive happens, the power goes out, or something like that, you are the visiting celebrity, and your reaction may become the keynote for how everyone looks at the problem. Here's a thought to get you through almost anything. It is what it is. Get over it. Your job is to say, oh, what a terrible shame. Well, let's have fun anyway. I've had to move shows indoors or under a tent. I've had to do shows by flashlight. I've had to get in the car and drive to another house. If you take it easy and put on your it's not such a big problem attitude, most of the time everyone else will too. And if it's all just insane and you can't make it any better, maybe there's loud music that the bowling alley won't turn down, or grandparents that keep walking in front of you every 5 minutes to hug the birthday child and start talking, or adults who stand 2 feet behind the kids and converse loudly. Sometimes you just have to say your lines, take the check, and go home. You don't have to win. You don't have to whip everybody into the behavior mode that would be ideal. What you have to do is do what it takes to get paid. But I'll tell you one tool that never works and can only get you into deep trouble. Leave your anger at home. Nobody ever turned an unruly group of kids into an orderly, happy audience by yelling and turning the dynamic into me versus you bad kids. If you're left with no other tool than anger, leave. If you run out of positive strategies, the show is not salvageable, and it's a very short step from angry performer to parents who are angry at the performer. Accept defeat and leave without the check. I can think of maybe 2 times in my career. One was a Cub Scout pack where boy after boy decided it was funny to sneak around backstage behind me, grinning at his friends, to grab and run away with another prop. And do you think the parents or the Cub Master would do anything? No. I tried to save the show with the last tool I had, raising my volume. And I should have just stopped and left. All I heard at the end was, well, you didn't have to get so mad at them, they're just being kids. Another time the whole family was out of control. The kids were just frenzied. I hadn't even gotten to the door. I'm unloading the car, and the mother sticks her head out and screams angrily for me to hurry up and get in there. I should have just gotten back in the car and driven away without another word. What could they do? But I got into an ever-worsening situation, and I didn't have the sense to get off the track of the show must go on and I need the money. I should have just left whether the customer thought I was any good or not, and I didn't get the money anyway. And leave your ego back home as well. If you've done everything you can to let the parent know what you'll do for the money, been pleasant and cooperative, worked hard to interact well with the children, you should have no real problems. I get people going way out of their way to be nice to me. They help me limp in, and they load my equipment in and out for me. They won't let me go without a plate of food, and much more I never expected. But you're dealing with the public, and you will get the occasional idiot who just defeats all your anti-idiot strategies and has a big old problem with you. Or now and then you frankly screw up and mess up the job. Sometimes I see performers fall into a very deep track. If someone challenges them or is unhappy about something, anything at all, suddenly the performer is arguing, justifying, trying to prove he was right, instead of doing the one thing that might save the situation. Before things turn into an argument, you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, what can I do to make things better?" And possibly, if they don't want to pay you, say, "Well, I think I owe you an adjustment. What do you think is fair?" Friends, you cannot win an argument with a customer. Even if you win, you lose. This will almost never happen, but it might save you from a complete loss or a much worse turn of events. On that cheerful note,